Thank you, Senator. Mr. Scarsi, am I saying that right?
Yes, Senator.
Do you think it's fair to impute to a lawyer the political positions or legal positions of his client?
I do not think that's fair, Senator. I think a lawyer represents the client's interest. Those may not necessarily be the lawyer's interests.
Okay. Mr. Vaden represented some of my colleagues in a case, a Voting Rights Act case. Do you think I should punish him if I disagree with the position that he took on behalf of his clients?
I don't think so, Senator.
Okay. Now, if I did, if that's the standard, we're going to judge you by your clients. You represent Cambridge Analytica, don't you?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. You agree with everything that Cambridge Analytica stands for and every action that it's ever taken?
I do not, Senator.
Do you think that would disqualify you to be a federal judge because you represented Cambridge Analytica?
It should not, no.
Yeah. People have a right to hire a lawyer in America, don't they?
They sure do, Senator, yes.
Right. Just like the clients that Mr. Vaden represented had a right to hire him.
That's correct, Senator,
Okay.
sure.
How many clients do you think you've represented throughout your career, Mr. Scarson?
Certainly dozens, maybe 50 or 60.
50 or 60. You agree with the politics of all of them, do you?
I certainly don't, Senator, no.
You agree with the conduct of all of them on a personal basis?
Not all the time, Senator.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Vaden?
No, Senator. I've represented a wide variety of clients, from labor unions to immigrant families to, as has been noted, some members of this committee. And I don't, and I'm not required to support all of the views that they may hold.
Mr. Scarsi, when a client comes into your office and says, I really need a lawyer, here's my legal problem, and I hear you're the best, and I want to hire you, do you interview them? You say, well, let me talk to you first. Are you a Democrat or a Republican? Do you do that?
I don't ask that question, Senator, no.
Do you ask them what their religious beliefs are?
I certainly do not, Senator.
Do you ask them what their political beliefs are?
I do not, Senator, no.
Why not?
Well, it's not really relevant to the conversation we're having. A conversation involving representation usually involves the nature of the representation, not what kind of a...
Do you think it's relevant to your qualifications as a federal judge?
No, I do not think so, Your Honor.
I don't either. Mr. Vaden, you went to Vanderbilt?
Yes, Senator.
Did I hear the chairwoman say you graduated with honors?
Summa cum laude, Senator.
Okay, what does that mean?
With highest honors, I believe.
Okay, how many in your class graduated with summa cum laude?
Not many, but I can't give you an exact number.
Less than 100?
Certainly.
Yeah. Less than 5?
Not quite that few.
Okay. And then you applied to law school?
Yes, Senator.
You went to Yale, right?
Yes, Senator.
Where else did you apply?
Harvard, Columbia, Stanford.
Where else did you get in?
Harvard, Columbia, Stanford.
You got in all of them. All right, and you practiced law. Tell me your firms so I don't have to dig it up.
Patton Boggs and Jones Day.
Oh, pretty good. How come the ABA, a minority of the ABA, says you're not qualified?
Well, Senator, they don't provide reasoning when a minority shares a view, so
They don't even give you a reason? They just say, in our opinion, you're unqualified?
Well, they gave me a qualified rating by a substantial majority.
Yeah, but the minority didn't.
No, that's correct.
Did they graduate summa cum laude?
I have no idea.
Did they go to Yale Law School?
I don't know.
Did they get into Harvard?
I have no idea.
How about Stanford?
I don't know.
How do you find out who gave you the unqualified status?
They do not reveal how they vote, typically, Senator.
Lots of due process, huh? All right, I'm sorry, your name,
Blumenfeld, Senator.
Mr. Blumenfeld, I'm sorry. Tell me the legal status of universal injunctions. Tell me the legal basis for a universal injunction.
Frankly, I think it's not entirely clear, as Justice Thomas pointed out in his opinion in Trump versus Hawaii. But I do believe, generally speaking, it is an equitable remedy. And so it appears
I know all that. I only got a few seconds left. here's what I need to know. A universal injunction is discretionary, is it not?
It is, Senator.
And when you issue a universal injunction, you're not only joining litigants in your court and in your jurisdiction, you're joining the litigants throughout the entire United States of America, right?
That is correct.
All 320 million people, right?
That is correct.
Okay. What I need you to help me understand is, are you going to be one of these judges that automatically grants a universal injunction when you don't like the law in front of you?
Absolutely not, Senator.
Okay. Tell me why I should believe you on that.
Well, I think the best way is really just to examine my record and to see whether that is generally the type of judge that I have been over the past 13 years. And I think what you would find is that I do follow the legal requirements, and I am very well aware, particularly in the context of equitable relief, that the requirement is to act exceptionally cautiously.
All right. I went way over. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Madam Chair. Professor Blumenfeld, look, I know you're going to follow precedent, and so I want to stipulate that you're going to follow precedent. Let's suppose I'm a journalist, and this will work. Let's suppose I'm a journalist, and let's suppose you're a poultry farmer, and I call you up and I say, listen, I don't tell you I'm a journalist. I tell you that I'm interested in buying some chickens. Can I come look at your chickens? And you say, sure, Kennedy, come on by. And I go look at your chickens without telling you I'm a journalist. And I videotape using my iPhone what I think may be health and safety violations. And then I go back to my station and I run them because it's ratings week. And the poultry, you understandably are not amused. So you file suit against me. What rights are at issue in a case like that?
Senator, I think there are two principal rights that would be potentially competing. I believe the rights that the poultry industry or the individual would have is whether there was some type of state invasion of privacy. Potentially also there could be a criminal statute that might protect surreptitious recording. On the other hand, of course, there would be First Amendment rights that would be at issue on behalf of the journalist.
Would you as a poultry farmer have a property right?
Well, there is certainly a property right, and the issue that might arise in that context is whether, to some extent, there was a trespass. There was consent for the journalist to come in, but it was actually not consent that was knowing consent. It was procured by deceit. And so generally you have a license to come onto property when invited, but that license can be at issue if in fact the license effectively was deceptively procured.
How should we resolve a case? Again, I don't want you to I don't want you to comment on precedent. How should we decide a case when we have a property interest versus a First Amendment interest? What sort of standards should we use?
I think generally speaking, when you have interests that are colliding, there's always going to be a balancing of those interests. The question is, how much weight are you placing with regard to those competing interests? And the law tends to favor, in many instances, fundamental constitutional rights that at times state interest must yield to. So generally speaking, I think that's how the analysis would work. How it would work in this specific instance is a bit more complicated.
Okay, well done. Mr. Vaden, I want you to tell me more about the ABA procedure. They come in, who interviews you?
A member of the Standing Committee on the Judiciary of the ABA.
Just one?
Just one, yes, sir.
Okay. When you're done, does he give you a grade like summa cum laude or A or a B or a C?
No, Senator. They just stand up, shake your hand, and walk out the door.
Okay. And then they go back, and who votes on you?
The members of the Standing Committee.
How many of them are there?
There are at least one for every federal judicial circuit. I think some of the larger circuits have more than one member.
Okay, so roughly how many are taking a vote on you, on your qualifications?
Well, there are 11 circuits plus the District of Columbia plus the federal circuit. So right there, that's 13, at least 13.
So you have they met you?
Other than the person who interviewed me, no.
Okay, and you don't know what the vote is?
All I know is that a substantial majority found that I was qualified.
Okay, but do you know who it was?
Who thought that I was qualified?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know who thought you were unqualified?
No.
And it's all done in secret?
Correct, Senator.
Are you given notice of their meeting?
No, Senator.
Are you given an opportunity to be heard with respect to all 13 of them?
With respect to all 13, no, Senator.
So it's all in secret?
As far as I'm concerned, yes.
Huh. It's kind of like an impeachment proceeding.
I won't comment on that.
And then what do you get a letter that says, hey, most of us think you're qualified, but some of us think you're unqualified? Is that how it
Correct.
works?
Correct.
And do they tell you why?
No, Senator.
And these are lawyers.
Yes, Senator.
You think all of them have read the Constitution?
I would hope that they have.
Think they all studied due process in law school?
I would hope that they have, Senator.
Okay. Do you think that gives you due process? I mean, all of you have been through that, right? Do you get a chance to confront your accuser?
Senator, when I went through the process, if there were negative comments, in a general way, the comments would be presented. That would be the extent of it.
Do you get to know who made the negative comments?
Candidly, Senator, I was not presented with negative comments, so I'm not quite certain.
Okay, but you didn't get to know who gave you the negative comments.
They did not reference any specific negative comments when they interviewed me.
Did they get into Yale Law School?
The person who interviewed me did not go to Yale.
Oh, okay. That's all I got, Madam Chair.